came to shooting, we focus, won't miss. That's culture. Check. Can't break down if we rolling, won't quit. That's culture. Check. It's a trend in the moment, we in motion, legit. That's culture. Check. Speak loud, no wonder we boating, we lit. That's culture.
Check. Check. What up, world? We are finally here on the first episode of the Culture Check.
Give it up for the Culture Check. Finally.
I feel like a little shade, but we can say that because it's our show. But I know y'all been waiting patiently, and we damn sure been waiting a long time.
Too long. Way too long, man.
Way too long?
Way too long, bro.
Way too long. What, is this February?
It's supposed to be end of January, and now it's what, February 8th?
That's way too
9th?
long.
Okay, that's way too long. But we're going to go ahead finally, without further ado, into the first episode of the Culture Check. And Brooke, what are we actually talking about today, man?
So our topic of today is going to be check your 20s. So basically, what we thought our 20s were going to be like, and then what they're actually like, and like what we learned and what we're learning from our 20s.
I know that is a list of things right there. I can tell you right now.
And people
And
don't
we're
get
all
depressed.
25, so like we're like in that midway point of like
That's a fact.
our 20s. So
Well, Ken, you're 26 though.
Hey, don't do that.
I
Don't
can't
violate me like that.
It's a couple months
hold up.
difference.
But don't violate me like that. You're going to point out, oh, you 26. I'm over the hill, man. The 25 mark, man.
That
hurt.
That is not over the hill.
How you going to do
26.
something like that?
It's 26.
And now I'm going on 27.
26.
Man.
You just got more wisdom
You're
than us. That's all that
getting
hurts. You live
hurts.
longer than us. That's it.
It hurts.
Whatever.
It hurts. But I don't look 26.
Oh.
Anyways, let's get into the
Go ahead, do you?
let's get into the check your 20s.
All right, go ahead.
Yes.
So,
All right. So what did you expect your 20s to be like?
Me,
Yeah.
20s. Well, I would have to say I thought it was actually going to be no stress. Well, I won't say no stress, but it would be just easy going. You know,
Like
what
you
I
would
mean?
have everything figured out.
I mean, I thought I would have. I thought I would have had a house at least.
False.
Hold up, damn. When have you ever? When did the last time I invited you to my humble abode?
Oh, so you having a bowl?
Oh,
you
it's
see
in
that?
a bowl.
It's in a
Ooh.
bowl. You
It's
got
not
in
even
a
a
bowl,
house.
then.
It's
You
in a
ain't got a house,
bowl.
You got in a bowl.
We're gonna get into that later. But
Alright.
that was one of the biggest
Go
things that
ahead.
I really thought I would already have. I thought I had my career, my own house, be close to actually on the verge with somebody to marry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And be actually able to take care of my parents because they gave so much to me.
Yeah.
Like financially,
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought I would be in a better state.
And I feel like,
Yeah.
like even on TV or just like when you see these people on TV who are in their 20s, like growing up, and they have their life together, but then again, it's just like they're celebrities. They have the money, like they have the funds to do that. Like we're just normal people.
For me, I'm not gonna lie. I had my head in the clouds. I thought I was going to the NBA for sure. I had hoop dreams.
That's
like
what it was
That
here.
Michael
Nah,
Jordan?
I'm not laughing
I had-
at you, but I'm just I understand
Nah,
what you're saying.
it's
I love basketball too. I thought so
it
as
was
well.
what
but-
it was at the time. I
I
was
get
like,
it.
yo, I got hoop dreams. I'm going here.
No,
I'm
yeah.
gonna put my family on and everything. And I mean, when it don't happen, honestly speaking, I didn't even feel that. I didn't feel that whole thing of like.
You didn't have like
man.
disappointment to it.
Not really. I kind of just I let it go. One of those things where it was like, yo, I got to move on because eventually I was gonna stop playing basketball. Something was gonna stop, so just move on. But that was to me that was a little childish stuff, honestly. But
No, I mean,
now-
I feel like that's real though, because like I know when I was 10 years old, I wanted to be a cheetah girl.
Like,
You know,
I was ready to
like-
say, you know,
Wait,
these were actually thoughts.
We make each other stronger.
Oh.
Them girls.
Like I literally wanted to
remember
be in a
the
girl
lyrics?
group. Like
Absolutely. Cam, I'm sorry. That's a whole new topic, but
I'm
you
sorry.
cannot tell me we do
You
not
know-
remember.
I know I saw
That was
it,
a
of
classic
course.
Disney Channel show,
I saw
a
it.
movie.
I saw it. I saw it.
Exactly.
Like, I
remember
literally- I ain't
seen the
lyrics like
second
that.
one.
I literally wanted to be every single cheetah girl. Like, or it's even like Britney Spears, like just anybody. Like I wanted to be a singer, but obviously I can't sing. But like you think of these things you want to be when you grow up, and it's just like, okay, let's snap back into reality. Like, what are you actually going to be? Because I ain't going to be no cheetah girl growing up.
Well,
obviously.
how long did you actually believe you were going to be a cheetah girl?
Probably
You said
for,
when
like-
you grew up. So how long?
I mean, like probably till I was like maybe like 11 or 12, like 2 years. You know,
Okay.
like that kid is.
That's true.
No,
I
and that's what I'm
understand
saying.
that.
So it's
Even
like-
even when I had hoop dreams, they kind of faded out somewhere around the late teens. You start getting a realistic kind of viewpoint on certain things.
Yeah, like,
You'd
I
be
literally thought I was gonna, like-
And it's not selling myself short or anything. You just trying to think of outside the box for yourself. Like, oh well, I could do this if this don't work out. So I
Right.
think I started getting a better idea or somewhat of an idea when it happens.
And then also what sucks too is like society makes it seem like, oh, like when you're 21, you have to graduate, and then you have to have a job right after.
And
like,
that's what people do.
Yeah, and that's and like growing up, I thought that like when I was 21, I would be graduated. I would already have like a boyfriend, be close to marriage, like have a family by like 23. Like you know, like
family by 23.
Yeah,
I literally thought that I was gonna have a family like right after out of college, like get married, like right out of college. Like that's what my whole goal was. I feel like every girl like has
every
like,
girl.
I feel like every girl has that like dream of like how you want your life to be, or just anybody like.
Y'all women be thinking about already y'all anniversaries of marriage when y'all be 6 years old.
Women are organized.
That's
so it's
early.
like
they be thinking about this stuff.
No,
they be thinking about this shit all the way when they 7.
I mean, I know, but
listen, when you're young, like you don't realize, you don't know what's going to happen when you're 23. You just think of things that you heard of people saying, or like you see, like you know, and like growing up, obviously, like getting older, you realize that's not going to happen. But as you're a child, like you think you're going to be these things, you know, or these things are going to happen, but they're actually not going to happen. Clearly,
family by 23.
I
literally thought I was gonna like be like in the entertainment industry already, like just be like
as a cheetah girl.
Cheetah sisters.
Wait, hold up. Real quick question. Which one of them would have been?
She said all of them.
Okay, because I saw myself in every single one.
I don't know why. That's
No. Come on. She saw one
so
that
if y'all know Cheetah Girls, there's 4 of them, obviously. Like Raven was the bossy one. I'm bossy. You know?
Oh, you bossy.
And Chanel and Chanel was the fashionista. I love fashion. Aqua was sassy. I'm sassy too. And Dorinda was a dancer, and I danced too.
Which one was Adrienne Bailon?
The Chanel.
That was my girl, though.
You know, like, so, like, I saw myself in every single one. So it's like I wanted to be all 4.
She was my chick, boy.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying about that, though. So you got.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you.
But still, man, a family by 20. How many kids are we talking? Did you already think about kids too?
I knew how many I wanted. I just didn't know like when. Like I still want 5 kids.
That's a
5.
To me, that's
but you don't hear that much in the society about that.
I know,
that's
but like I feel
number.
like growing up, I didn't have a big household, so like I want to have that family like dynamics. I didn't have that growing up. My mom was a single parent. It was me, my mom, my brother, and it wasn't boring, but it was just like okay. Like I want to have like the whole family dynamic. I want to have kids. I want to have like multiple like generations of my.
I feel you.
You know, seeds.
Her offspring.
My offspring.
Spread the kid. Spread the kid.
You know, I want a big family.
That's true. I can feel that.
So what's your 20s like now, Miles?
What are they like now?
Like what's going on now? Like tell people like what's going on in your life at 25 years old.
Talk to them people, Miles.
How deep am I supposed to get with this?
Like what's your reality? Like you already know like what you expected. What's your reality?
You want me to go?
Go deep.
Hey,
go ahead.
Jeez. All right, here we go.
Let's be real.
I bet. So honestly, in my 20s, okay, I did go to college. I did plan to go to college. Now I'm still working on finishing though, so I'm still a little, in my eyes, behind. 'Cause I didn't graduate on the 4-year plan. Once again, we were told, like you said, the timeline. At this certain age or this certain time, you're supposed to have things done. Which is what I was saying about like I don't like how people put a timeline
because I feel like everyone's timeline is different. You know, everyone goes through different problems.
That's what society tells me.
But I feel like it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing to get people to something to strive for, like goals. But then again, it's like it's a bad thing because everybody's different. Everyone grew up different. Different types of things go on in different people's lives, so it's like you don't know what's going to happen.
But think about that as well. If you don't accomplish that goal you set at that certain age, does that not put some type of depression or some type of...
It does, but...
Like, it breaks it down kind of inside.
It does.
I brought
See, there's two... Well, I mean, I know.
It's okay. I mean, it's real. It's
yeah, but it is.
There's 2 different things to that. I feel like you got some people who would get really, really down if they didn't achieve their goal at a certain age, and then you got some people who are like, okay, well... I had already kind of been possibly preparing for this, and like I said, the motivation is different. So it could be. It just depends on that person how they feel about it.
It depends. Like for me, for example, like now, like I realize things like now, but it's just like growing up. Like I tried to enjoy every year. Like I grew up. I didn't. My mom never pressured me to like get things done at a certain time. She's let me like live my life. She let things happen naturally, which I was blessed to. But then again, it's just like. Get on it, like, don't stop being in La La Land, like, get on it. And I didn't realize that until I graduated college. I was on my own. I'm just like, oh crap, I'm not in La La Land anymore. Like, I'm actually in the real world. I gotta actually like buckle up.
That's true.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a fact.
But back to answer the question.
Yeah, guys.
That was real talk though. But back to answer. So yeah, still getting on my 4-year degree. I'm like only got like a year left, so it's like Miles, get it. But I think the biggest thing that really shocked me is I'm a father. And it's like no way down in my life did I ever feel like I was going to have a child before marriage. I never thought that once in my mind.
I see that.
I never thought that once in my mind.
I feel you on that. I do feel you.
So that hit me, and I was like, best thing on earth. I'll say that. Let me start off by saying that. God's gift, like, that boy, I love that boy to death.
Yeah.
It's just, I never saw myself at the age of 20. I believe I was 23 when he came. It's like I never thought I'd be in my 20s, early 20s, and having a child. So that was the biggest thing that really shocked me about.
When did you want to have a child? Just like later on? Or like
I wanted to have it later. Whenever I got married,
yeah.
Whenever I met, because my parents, like you said, your parents got married in the
my
when they were in
parents
their
never
20s.
My parents never married. My grandma.
Okay, well your grandma, they were married in like 20s, right?
Yeah.
My parents didn't get married till the 30s and waited 4 years until having me. So I thought, like you said, I saw that. I thought I was gonna be like that. I get married and I want to enjoy marriage. I still want to when I get married. So enjoy a little bit of time and then have a child. That's how I planned it. Now I didn't really put an age line on it, but I did have that vision. Yeah. So that was the biggest thing I think in my 20s that really flipped me.
I get you.
I was like, man.
I mean, that would change anybody's life. Having a kid, that changes anybody. Hopefully, if you're responsible enough, like you said, obviously it will change your life for the right reasons, though. It'll make you, I feel like, just more personable and more relatable to humans, period. I think if you have a child. Right. I say that humbly because I don't have a child, so I'm saying that humbly.
Oh, I tell you all the time, they are a gift. Blessed from God, they are a precious, they are a gift.
Yeah, it's like
it's
a part of you.
But take your time. Take your time.
Yeah, I can really say
take your time. Trust me, just take your time. They're great. Just take your time. Ain't no rush. Ain't no rush.
I sound like somebody that take your time.
I'm sorry, man.
Take your time.
People say that. They were like, look at Miles acting like a father. I'd be like, well, damn it, I am.
Yeah,
so what?
I feel you. No.
It'd be funny.
It just is what it is. Like.
Well, Brooke, go ahead. What about you?
For me, okay. I didn't really reality didn't really hit me until I graduated college. Because for me, I've always been a person of doing what I love and not doing what people want me to do or like going with the norm. Like my struggle right now is trying to find a balance of finding a job that I love and making money. And like for me, I mean, let's be real, like for me, like it's so hard to find like, cause I'm a music lover, I love entertainment, but it's so hard to get into industry sometimes. So it's like trying to find that balance of like, how do I work in the industry, but also like have the money to like pay my bills, like 8 to 5 jobs. Because I know I'm not an 8 to 5 person. I'm not born to be an 8 to, you know, like.
He said, no, that's not me. 8 to 5 is not me, baby.
Like I can't sit in a cubicle Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Every day of my life, because to me,
now those who are watching the article, don't get mad.
No.
Respect.
That's just me. Like,
respect.
Like I don't want to work in an 8 to 5 job because that's just not who I am. I want to, like, I'm a very like I want to do what I love. I want to be happy. Like if it means I take pay cuts or do whatever to get to my dreams, like then I'm gonna do that. That's my struggle right now is trying to find like a balance between sacrificing something as an 8 to 5 making money, but also doing what I love. And like it's just I don't know, it's so hard, but like it's all coming together. Like I just have to work hard and like get to where I need to get to. But that's my biggest struggle right now is a balance, or just trying to it's just trying to find like that happy medium of like making my money but also doing what I love.
Facts.
But yeah, and just also just keep doing what I love. Like for dancing, like I wasn't a dancer growing up. I was a cheerleader. Like I played sports and stuff, but like I've always kept up with dancing, and like that's something that I love to do. I don't really get paid with it that much, but it's like something that I love to do. It takes up my time, which takes up money from other jobs, but it's like trying to find that balance of trying to put everything that I love and make money off of it. Because I'm not that 8 to 5 office person, and that's so hard for me.
I got you.
Yeah, that feel. I guess, Brooke. It's funny because I'm flipped of what you're talking about. So when I got out of college, when I wasn't playing basketball anymore, I took just this. I guess I assumed the 8 to 5 life was for me for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
I was
secure.
like, yeah, I
you know,
was like, okay,
you know what you're doing every day.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I remember being blessed with an opportunity to get a job, made good money, and bought a house, and
which we're currently in right now.
Damn.
Yeah, don't do that. Why you putting all my business out there?
They don't know your address.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay.
God,
Go ahead, Cam.
Anyway, but
I was giving you some praise.
nah,
You know,
you good.
the praise was in the statement, but
I know,
You
okay.
good. I meant it.
Never mind.
Whatever. Hey, but anyway, look. Everything was going cool, it seemed like, honestly. But then the stress of the job got there. I wasn't really happy. I remember just sitting there kind of being like, is this what I'm supposed to do? Just kind of come in behind the computer every day and try and do something? And it's no disrespect, like I said, no disrespect to anybody who's good at it. That's what you do and that's what you feel. But for me at that time, I think getting straight out of college and going into that, I think that was a little bit, for me, I think it happened a little bit too early. I've been blessed to be able to sustain myself and have some place to stay. But now I think I'm starting to become more aware of what I want to do and kind of more of a direction and where I want to be. Because before I had no clue. I was just in there kind of like, oh man, this is killing me. I spent like 3 years at the job, just confused in the days behind the computer every day. Like,
and that's why I think it's so important too, like finding your purpose.
Facts.
So I feel like once you find your purpose, like you're gonna be happy because it's your purpose. It's what you're supposed to be doing. Like no matter what it is or what it pays, like eventually it's gonna pay off. But like making sure like you're doing something that like is what you're supposed to be doing like in your life. Like I know like for me, like right now in my 20s, I'm trying to find my purpose. Like I'm finding it right now, but trying to find my impact in the world. Or like where I'm going to make a difference.
Sure,
or
I think
like,
that's all of us though.
Yeah, you know, so it's like
still going for a little
bit. And that's where I'm at in my 20s, and I feel like I can probably attest to all of us. That's where we're all at in our 20s, because
that's about right.
Finding a purpose. I feel like everyone needs to find their purpose. Everyone has one. It might not come for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Like we all have our own timelines, but making sure you're striving to find your purpose. I feel like that's what I'm learning right now in my 20s.
I think it makes people more happy.
Yeah, you know, like because you're doing something that's like your God-given talent.
Yeah, that makes you happy. Like,
and you're helping others, and you're impacting people. It's a great thing.
Sure is. So, in all, so you're saying it was like finding out what you like. Your purpose is what you really like. It was the big issue of this one about your 20s.
What was crazy about it? So, and this is the funniest part to me. I remember the day I went into the office and people were getting laid off and whatnot. So I remember kind of sitting there. I already kind of felt it. I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to get laid off. I'm like, that's cool. I tried to take everything in stride. So the supervisor came and was like, hey, Cameron, can I see you for a second? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. He was like, hey, man, this is the worst part of the job, but, you know, I have to let you go. I'm like, hey, no worries, Kyle. And he was a great dude. Obviously, he didn't mean it.
That more than I would have cried.
Oh no, I couldn't because
I couldn't.
I really couldn't because I was. It almost seemed like one of those things where I was like, well, Cam, what are you really doing here?
True.
Because I couldn't remember how I felt like I was making an impact in my life or in anybody else's life from being there. And I'm not saying to take that away from anybody, but it didn't feel right. So when I got let go from it, it kind of felt like
a relief, or like just like
not a relief. It was just like, oh, okay, like I guess let's get busy with trying to find out what I want to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It was like a blessing for you, like not a blessing, but like a.
It was one of those one door closes, another one opens type.
It was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
It was just supposed to happen.
I get that. I respect that.
So it's like I said, how like with you with that, you with the whole balance, and myself with the whole like, oh, real life, like fatherhood, making me like, oh wow, realize what's going on. What is it more like? How do we really like deal with it now? How do we cope with it?
How I cope with it? Okay, for me.
Wait, hold up. I'm sorry. In what ways are we defining coping?
Anyway, how are you dealing with it? Make it
Because
comfortable.
you're coping.
I'll say
in a positive or negative.
however you
How,
want to.
I want to hear. No, say a negative. I want to hear this.
No, it's fine. We don't got.
You on a positive track. Now you want to go ahead. Want to put the difference? Okay,
No,
be
I
negative.
was just trying to establish.
Anyways,
I wanted to establish something.
What you learn from this?
You go first, actually.
Yeah,
you actually go first, Miles.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, how I'm dealing with, I feel like 20s for me is so confusing. It's starting to make sense now, like my life. How I'm dealing with it is I'm very a firm believer in God. I have a strong faith. I'm not ashamed to say that.
Amen.
Yeah.
Going to church helps.
Yeah.
I listen to Mike Todd's Transformation podcast because he talks a lot about dealing with issues. And I literally lean on my faith with God. I pray. I haven't been going to church lately because I've been so busy, but like I watch sermons online. Like with that, just helping, it helps me cope with like my issues. And people look at church as like a negative thing, but I look at it as church is a place for people who are going through something. I feel like it's a healer. It's not, I mean, people can make it seem like, oh, like it's for the money, but like if you are going through something, you don't have to go to church. For me, I go to church because like it gives me a perspective of like why I'm dealing with things. Depends on who you go to. Like my pastor is awesome. He actually like he tells you like.
Oh, you showing off your past now?
You gotta go in.
No, I'm not. No, I'm just saying. I'm just making stuff.
She wanted to take
No,
it
because
there,
people
my-
have a negative.
my
No,
pastor
listen.
is awesome.
No,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No,
go
I'm
ahead. Go
messing
ahead.
with you.
No, because people have a negative negative persona of church.
No, you
You
No,
know?
that- I mean,
So
yeah,
I want
I
to
mean-
make people know that there are good churches out there. Like, it helps with when you're confused. You know, like for me. I mean, that's just for me. Y'all might have something different, but that's how I deal with it. And I also like, I just try to like be positive and everything. Like if something bad happens,
That part.
I'm just like, okay, yeah, it hurts for like a little bit, but it's just like, okay, it's supposed to happen. This happened for a reason. Like God didn't want this in my life for a reason. Like, you know, so like just trying to like make a positive spin on something negative, and that's how I can get through those downward spirals that I have, or like downward like moods. Like, okay, this is just a phase, or like whatever.
I think that's important. And in addition to what you're saying too, I think also having friends and a lot of family who are
Yeah,
supportive,
just having a
kind of
support
like-minded.
system.
Yeah, if you just got a good support system, it's pretty
Having
easy.
great friends, you
yeah,
know?
it's
Like I
pretty.
have great friends. Shout out all my friends.
No, that's a fact. Yeah, shout out to all mine. We ain't
Oh,
gonna
y'all
go through
doing-
names.
shout out to mine.
We're
Y'all
not
already
going through
know
names.
Y'all know who you are.
We ain't going through names, but honestly, when you talk to some friends who actually be going through the same thing that you go through
Yeah.
actually, and or sometimes even worse, or however they go through a lot of things too. So I think when everybody kind of depends on each other and kind of pushes things forward, that kind of helps too. Also with the coping of anything, you know, really anything. I think anything. If you have a good support system like that, of course, and if you have religion or God, you know,
Whatever
kind of
helps
helps
you.
like that, you know.
I basically hit the nail on the head right there, and especially I go with the positivity thing.
Yeah,
I try to live
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this
It's
life
tough.
is
You
way
need
too
that.
short for
You
us
need
to
that.
worry, to stress about anything really. So
Thing be
that's
quick,
my
man.
biggest thing is the positivity. Now, it's crazy because with that, I just remember also another thing that like in my 20s I never ever thought I would ever experience, and I think you guys could actually 100% agree with it, and y'all too. Well, America, y'all could agree with it too. But actually, when I was in jail at some point in my life, so it was like that. Now, I ain't gonna go into detail. But if y'all want to talk about that, we'll do that later. My personal
Slide in his
Look
DM.
at
Slide it.
And ask
Wait a minute.
Ask me like, so why were you in jail? I want to know.
Hey,
That's gonna be
look,
trending.
look.
Oh my gosh! But
Hashtag Miles in jail.
oh my gosh, yeah,
Why they
it
gonna
ain't
do
Twitter
that?
jail, but
Twitter jail.
but no, for real, like it's part of my life, and I'm not ashamed of it. And like,
Cat, Miles is a great person, so
Thank you.
don't.
Why
yeah.
would you be
I
ashamed
wouldn't.
of it?
I wouldn't mess with him if he's not a good person.
There's a lot of
Continue.
good people in jail.
yeah, there's a
Honestly,
lot, and
yeah.
and that's what I found out.
It really is. So,
I really found
mean,
out.
Some great people in jail.
But I also, like you said, things happen for a reason, which I hate a lot. And then my faith in God
Yeah.
got me through that situation. So, like, I was at peace. People would come by and call, "Hey, man, you look at peace," but I'm just at peace right here. With God, I'm just praying, make sure I'm good. And I never really was like, for the first 2 weeks, I was going crazy. But after that, I was at peace. And I was just like, that's something I never experienced, but positivity,
Yeah.
faith,
Yeah.
All that, and had a support system.
Yeah.
It's just, and shout out to my support. Y'all know who y'all are. I really love y'all for that. And it's just, that's all you really need to get through.
That help you get through.
And it's just but
that
this is
help
the
you push
20s.
And I will say this: if you don't, I know some people don't have that support system. If you don't have it, lean on your own self. Lean on your own faith. Like,
even though it's hard,
it's hard. It's very hard walking a road alone. And if you are going through that, like, it's okay. Like, try, like, I don't know.
You know what? I can't also front to a simple thing I also tell myself every morning, and I hope, and I use this advice for anybody, any of my friends who have troubles, like when they think about where they wanted to be in their 20s, I always tell them, like, okay, you may not be where you want to be at the moment, but God willing, your 20s is young. There's a lot of life left to go out here and get. And even your 30s is young.
It's young. It's very young.
You know what I mean?
I think that's a big thing, because a lot of us think we're old now.
No.
And I'm saying that humbly, of course, again, but like, you still young and out here and can go get it. So don't ever think one day like, man, I'm not there yet. You still got some time.
Life is a process.
A pretty good amount of time, and it's your time. Don't let nobody think you got to run it on somebody else's clock. It's your time. You have your own watch. Use
That's
it.
my biggest woof.
Yeah, like
that
comparing
comparison
yourself.
thing.
Yeah, like,
Okay,
I'd be
for
struggling
example,
on that.
for like all of my friends, like most of my good friends up north, they're all like in long-term relationships, getting married, engaged, and like I'm literally like the only single friend, like with certain group
America.
friends, you know. So it's just like,
Keep that in mind. Brooke is single.
and happy.
Yeah.
I'm single and happy. No, I'm
Brooke
single
is
and
single,
happy.
man.
Nah. You told me to slide in my DMs.
I did
I
not
can
no,
she put
no.
mine on like, hey, look.
I did not say that.
She is single.
Anyways, so like me comparing myself to them, it's just like, okay, that's their timeline. You know, so it's like, even with that, it's just like graduating. Like my friends graduated at 21, or like they took 4 years for college. It took me 5
You got your
and a
own
half.
watch.
You know, so like, don't be ashamed or feel bad for where you're at. Like, don't compare yourself to other people. Like, this is your journey. Like, it's your 20s. Enjoy every second of it. Like,
I like how you said that. You sounded like an Oprah little thing. This is your journey. I like it. That was fire.
know, like,
bro.
How it sound, kiddo?
that was fire.
How it sound?
This is your journey. that was fire. I mean, the way that came off, that
like
tone,
it's
impeccable.
like, I'm being real. Like, it's your journey. Like, your 20s are so young. Like, I feel like this is like the year for y'all to figure things out. Y'all are laughing, but I'm
No.
Hey,
look, I'm still in. I'm still in.
He didn't say this.
Miles over there.
Let's go without saying this is your journey.
I'm spitting the truth of
No.
it.
It's a fact. I honestly, bro, I would have to agree. Like,
Yeah, like,
that just take your time. Don't
Take your
think
time.
about
It's
anybody
okay.
else's.
Absolutely,
Take yours, because to be honest with you, when you go, which we all do, it's gonna be on your own time. Nobody's going with you, so make sure you remember that. Do your thing.
And with all that, we're also taking this advice too. We ain't just giving out.
Yeah,
like
I can
know
really
it
say
all.
we
We
not-
take
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
We sound
Don't-
good, maybe,
yeah.
but we
This
gotta
is-
take this in ourselves.
I don't want you to think, oh, they so wisdom.
No,
No.
we gotta
No,
go
it-
home and evaluate. Go look in the mirror too.
It ain't all like
Ask
that.
these
Yeah,
questions.
no,
yeah,
we-
this is just what we're going through when we're learning.
Yeah.
Obviously, your journeys are different than ours. These are just things that we are going through right now. And if it can help you, that's great. That's why we're here. We're here to help. We're here to talk about the culture, help the culture, be in the culture. Like, so yeah, if y'all have any questions, just hit us up on our personal or just our actual Culture Check Instagram. Like,
At any time, we're pretty chill
Anytime.
people. So just talk to us, and don't be weird about it too. Just really talk to us for real.
yeah, like we're pretty normal people.
I can
So
really say.
Pretty normal. But yeah,
Well,
that's
we-
gonna do it basically
we
for
are normal.
this. We are normal.
Yeah, you said pretty normal. I'm like, well, we are normal.
I said
But-
I had to say pretty because I feel like normal is like not normal.
Well,
now,
I mean,
so
you
it's
know
like,
what? Yeah,
You know?
normal in that sense. But you know what? Yeah, we
Cut
good.
it off. That's gonna do the first episode of the Culture Check finally here, and as Brooke said, this is your journey.
Yes.
So
Yep, there it is.
So,
there it is, Ma.
exactly, it's your
there
journey.
it is, Ma.
So take your time, no rush. Like, it's okay if you aren't where you think you should be
gotta
because
go
you're on your own timeline.
That's
So on that note, I'm gonna sign us out.
that's a fact.
It's your girl,
That's a
Brooke.
fact.
it's your boy Miles.
It's Cam.
We
yo.
are the Culture Check.
We
Signing
out.
out.
We out.